Well, then what are we going to do about Maxine Waters? She's going to have to be impeached. You decide.
You see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome. The people are going to turn on them. They're going to protest. They're going to absolutely harass them until they decide that they're going to tell the president, no, I can't hang with you. The lying president said that I had threatened all of his constituents. I did not threaten his constituents, his supporters. I do that all the time, but I didn't do it that time. And with this kind of inspiration, I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Gonna take Trump out tonight. As you can see, for years, Maxine Waters frequently calling for harassment, for violence against the president of the United States, his staffers, and even his supporters. She even talked about taking him out and using the Democratic Party's own logic and standards. Her insurrectionist incitement warrants, well, that would warrant impeachment, right? Until now, Waters, she's never faced impeachment or punitive measures of any kind. In fact, Democrats, they even promoted her to be the chairwoman of the powerful Financial Services Committee. And that's because, according to her, Waters herself, she has done and said absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever. Trump insurrectionist, hers is peace, love, and kindness, the type you'd hear on a Sunday morning in church. Take a look.
And they're going to try and say that we have done rallies and we've said things that have incited others.
Can you say that you have not glorified or encouraged violence against Republicans?
Absolutely, I can say it. As a matter of fact, if you look at the words that I used, the strongest thing I said was tell them they're not welcome. Talk to them. Tell them they're not welcome. I didn't say go and fight. I didn't say anybody was going to have any violence, and so they can't make that stick.
Create a crowd, take Trump out tonight, get in their faces, follow them into the grocery store. They're not wanted anywhere anymore. Well, we all heard the violent rhetoric, which, according to the Democrats' own standards, that is incitement towards insurrection. We have tape of Chuckie Schumer physically threatening 2 U.S. Supreme Court justices right there on the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court building, saying they won't know what hit them and they will pay the price. When does his impeachment trial start? Now, we heard New Jersey Senator Cory Booker scream, go to the Hill, get up, and please get up in the face of these Congress people. Oh, he's inciting insurrection. We heard Joe Biden twice talk about, taking Trump behind a gym and beating the hell out of him. Wonder if a conservative said that about him, what the reaction would be. Over the summer, just days after a Minneapolis precinct burned to the ground, violent riots wreaking havoc, multiple cities. What did Kamala Harris say? She was encouraging more of it, telling Stephen Colbert, they're not going to stop. And everyone, beware, because they're not going to stop. Oh, what, burning down police precincts? They're not going to stop before the election day in November. They're not going to stop after Election Day. Everyone, you take note. You take note of that on both levels. They're not going to let up. They should not, and we should not. Sounds like insurrectionism. Anyway, applying that Democratic standard to Waters and Schumer and Joe and Kamala Harris and Pelosi and others, also promoting, by the way, in Harris's case, promoting a bail fund to get violent rioters arrested out of jail. Okay, I guess their impeachment trials will follow. Keep in mind, according to nearly every media mob outlet, now according to the FBI and investigators, now according to documents that have been relayed to the court documents, and even according to Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the breach at the Capitol, it was pre-planned. It wasn't some out-of-control, spontaneous incitement to riot because of Donald Trump's remarks. In fact, we're now learning that the 2 pipe bombs that we have on video that were planted the night before may have been part of a pre-organized attack. So make no mistakes. Authorities were warned about an impending war at the Capitol. That was being planned, perhaps weeks in advance. This is why you don't have snap impeachments before you have any facts, any investigation, any conclusion. Never mind the idea that you might want to allow the other side to, well, at least make their case. Take a look.
The investigation into the deadly insurrection at the U.S. Capitol a week ago, new evidence that it was planned.
Also shocking, new reporting that the FBI received a very specific warning before the riot.
That FBI notice warned of war at the Capitol, but for some reason, security wasn't stepped up there to meet the challenge that attack would pose.
That there was an FBI internal report the day before the siege warning of a violent war at the Capitol.
The FBI admitting that it had intelligence before the insurrection that people were planning to travel to D.C. with the intent to cause violence.
Now, just how did President Trump's January 6 remarks incite an attack that has now been in the works for weeks? Now, tonight we need to get to the bottom of what went wrong at the Capitol. This can't happen in our country. And by the way, those that travel to Washington, D.C., those involved in the plotting and the planning and the scheming with violent intentions, oh, yeah, why didn't we know about it? Why weren't they prepared? And sadly, Democrats now are more interested in just waging yet another pointless smear of former president in exile, Donald Trump. And let's hope the trial goes on and on for weeks and months. As a matter of fact, I highly recommend it, Chuck. Just extend it out day after day, week after week, month after month. Let America fully absorb how shallow you and your party are. And let's all learn about the glaring double standard and the rank hypocrisy that is all of Washington and all of its swamp ugliness.